What is going on, everybody? It is a brand new week, and that can only mean one thing to this rinky-dink little show, and that means it is time for us to dig deep once more. My name is Travis.
And I'm Peel, and this is the Travis and Peel Show.
Dig deep.
You know it's time. You know it's time. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Happy spring.
Happy spring to you. Happy spring to you. Is it getting
Happy spring
warmer?
to all of you.
Is it getting warmer where you're at? Are the snowstorms over with?
Oh,
Are you in
it
the
depends on which day.
Depends on which day. So to all you people out there,
like
especially
today was really warm, and then
Yeah.
other days it's freezing. With like 2 days ago, and then the other week it was like 80-something degrees. So I don't know. Weather.
That's the south weather, man. It's kind of nuts. Moving to Southern California, I got to say that's been the absolute best part of like living in this location is the consistency of weather. You know, 90% of the time what it's going to be like over here, and it's usually warm, hot, or sunny. And yeah, I can mess with that. I can mess with that. If we ever moved away from California, that would probably be the biggest thing that I miss for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, let's
so,
dig deep. Let's get into this. Let's talk about this game. What are we doing, Travis?
That was semi-deep. That was a semi-deep topic, just kind of to get those, just to wet those lips of anticipation.
Moisten the palate.
What we do, we take Let's Dig Deep from What Do You Meme, a phenomenal little card game that you can get at Target. So we take this game. This game has three different pillars of questions. There are icebreakers, there are deep questions, and there are the ever so healthy and heavy deeper questions. And we take one of each every week. We draw them at random. None of us have seen the cards. We are answering it all on the fly. So you know it's a truthful, maybe not truthful. It could be an outright lie, right? It could be an outright lie, but hopefully,
I'm pretty much being open and honest about all this. I mean, just letting it out.
I challenge you on that. No, I'm just kidding. Just messing with you. All right, so we're drawing three cards. I was trying to see if I was going to go anywhere, and it didn't. It happens. So I got three cards here, guys. We have our icebreaker, our deep question, and that's two deep questions. Let's throw one of these away.
It's a little too deep.
Deeper. So we got deep, deeper, and icebreaker. So let's start off with the icebreaker.
Bring it to me, man. Let's dig deep.
Dogs or cats?
Oh, man. Oh, shit. Both? Why not both?
In a perfect world, right?
Yeah. Cats. Lower maintenance. Always working, things like that. I'd feel bad. If I didn't have time to spend with my dog, it's like a kid. It's a family member, it's somebody that you have to spend a lot of time with. A cat can, fuck off all day and doesn't care if you fuck off all day, but you get together at those times, those moments where it's lovely and cuddly and it's nice. And then you go, they pretty much just maintain themselves. Just make sure they got food and water and change their calendar.
Right. So I've lived in a household where we have had dogs and cats at the same time. So I've had a lot of experience there, and I can say beyond a shadow of any doubt in my mind that I'm a dog person over a cat person. I do like cats still. I think cats have a good place, and you're absolutely right. In terms of convenience, the cat is that pet that you can have that doesn't really require too much maintenance. It doesn't require, in my opinion, half the shit that a dog needs. Dogs are tough. And I've done big dogs, like 100-pound German Shepherds, where it's basically you have another human in the house. It's really difficult. When they're sick, you're taking care of a person. If they're anyway, but like dogs and cats, like it's more responsibility. A dog requires more companionship. A dog requires they're more picky, I think, in terms of food.
Oh yeah.
They
have that mindset. It's just what it is. Mm-hmm.
They have reactions to things that are on the outside, so they'll bark a lot sometimes. It just depends on what type of dog, because every dog has a different personality. And it is cool, like as you grow with animals, they definitely do take on their own personalities and stuff. But with cats, here's the one thing I miss about cats, and the one thing that you cannot do with dogs. If you have to leave for like 3 or 4 days, and you just have a cat, you can just overstock, like really clean out the litter box. You can overstock their food, make sure they have extra water, and just fucking bounce. And you can just bounce, man. Like that's
makes it so much
what's
easier,
up.
not having to
When
like
you have
board them and everything like that.
When you have a dog, you have to probably make the choice to find a place to come to your place, find someone to come to your place, or find a place for your dogs to go to theirs, which is also really, really hectic and have you worrying the entire time that you're out. Or you can board them. And then on top of that, if you have to board them, you have to make sure that they're up to date on all their shots for that they require. So there's just so much stuff, and when you think you've gotten everything, well, no, the dog requires one more thing. So like the dogs are a pain in the butt in terms of the responsibility it takes to to have them, but cats definitely have the convenience for sure. But there's nothing, dude. Like there's nothing. Like a cat cannot. I don't care what history you've had with a cat. I don't care if that cat was super cuddly. So I know sometimes they're not. They're known for being assholes, but sometimes they can have like really cool personalities and stuff and be really sweet. But even the sweetest cat cannot stand up to a standard, average, everyday dog in terms of like true companionship. Like I can't get that from a cat. I've had 3 cats.
You've had the wrong cats, my friend.
Maybe, I don't know, but every single dog I've had a companionship with. So you tell me, you tell me those numbers. I just think cats are. I mean,
math. So it's clear that you're definitely a dog person. I'm a cat person. That was a pretty good icebreaker there. Time to get a little deeper.
I would say
get a little deep.
We'll see. Dogs are way better. Fuck off. Deep question. The deep question is, have you ever played a prank on someone? And if so, what?
Oh, man. How many? And some pranks just turn into downright, like, assault or many, like, misdemeanors and felony crimes. But, yeah, I definitely have played pranks on people. I mean, it's funny. Nothing like too serious.
Okay, well, let's get to you in a second because I've been around for some of your pranks. I am not a big prank person. I'm not big on fucking with people. Maybe I was more when I was younger, like in high school and college, but it's not really like, right. Dude, everybody get together, we gotta go do this thing and fuck with someone. Like that's never been my MO to instigate or anything. Even going back to high school, I remember like half the shit that the football players would do in the locker room to other guys, and I was never down with any type of like hazing or fucking with people or pranks or anything like that. Like I've never been interested in that because I don't want that shit happening to me. So I'm going to be the guy that doesn't like cause it because I know if it happened to me that I would have a hissy fucking fit about it. So I'm not going to do it to somebody when I know I wouldn't like it done to me.
Doing to others, right?
Exactly. So you have to be willing and okay and ready to take on that if you're doing it. And I've never been open to that. So I've kind of strayed away. Now I've been a part of pranks. I've been like around people. Like if you pulled a prank on somebody, I've been there to giggle about it. Pranks are funny. They always have been, and most of them always will be.
Lay out one of your pranks. You definitely have. You do not condone them, but so what's one of your pranks? Because that's what the question said.
I just talked about.
Have you ever done it?
I don't have a prank. I don't really prank people.
You've never pranked anybody. Never like.
I've never really
put poop in a bag, lit it on fire.
Never
rang a doorbell and ran.
Never done that.
TP'd a house.
I tipped over a porta potty one time, but it's not a prank. That's just fucking up property. Like that's not a prank.
that's a prank.
A prank is a friend sleeping and you're putting your balls on their lips. Like that's a prank.
Yeah. Well, yeah, fingers in some warm water, making him pee.
Yeah, I've never really done that. I've always been the guy that when people are fucking with somebody, especially when someone's asleep. When I've gotten older, since like I've gotten older, when I ever see somebody fucking with someone asleep, I tend to stop it. I think that is pretty fucked up, doing something to somebody when they sleep. It's some of the funniest internet videos you'll ever see in your life, but in my real life, I just don't like that kind of thing, because I know that if I did that, then that would be opening them to doing it back to me, and then it just never fucking
and like
quits.
Over the years, I have definitely calmed down on that kind of stuff. It's not something I look to do now or anything, but yeah, definitely younger days before like 27. Yeah, I love like just messing with people, or you know, like I said, nothing too serious, but just pulling like basic pranks. And you know, like you mentioned, like there's so many different things you can do to somebody. It never like went necessarily over the bounds, especially with somebody that I didn't know. But you know, with friends and everything, kept it close. Yeah, always doing some kind of pranks. And yeah, I've actually been there when you have tipped over a porta potty. And yep. So we've definitely done that together.
That was just hateful. That wasn't that had nothing to do with pranking somebody.
Yeah, I put like people, you know, like glue or grease under people's like door handles, you know, put like bologna on their windshields, you know, stupid things like that. You know, have, you know, messed with people when they were sleeping, the shaving cream in the hand, the genitals on the face, and what have you. Just fun, you know, frolicking things that you do with your friends.
Have you ever done that before?
Have
you ever done that where like you just like put a nutsack on somebody's face?
Teabag somebody?
Yeah, have you ever teabagged?
Yeah,
somebody?
I'm pretty sure we can probably get some comments. People like, yeah, I've definitely had his balls in my face.
Really?
It's I mean, if you're gonna get down to it, yeah, it definitely happened. There's been genitalia on people's faces, in and around their face.
Never in my entire life have I ever thought about.
Oh, well, wait until at the end of this episode, a picture of us in high school that I wanted to bring out. No,
what's staying on the prank tip.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever pulled a prank on me? I don't think I've ever pulled a prank on you.
I can't think of anything that I have besides like some basic, you know, like bullshit, like, oh, hey, some girl said this about you,
or like
you know,
sack tapping
just, you know,
each other, fucking around and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
like,
I've definitely backhand your balls and made you crumple over before.
But yeah, not like prank. I'm trying to like really dig deep and think, and I can't think of like you like doing like a hardcore stereotypical prank. And I know I've definitely not done it to you. I would actually be shocked if there was a time where I like pranked you hard. It's just never been my thing.
Yeah, oh well, but we've both done it. We've done it together. So yes, we have both pranked. We had some, you know, decent things. Nothing too serious, but let's dig deeper.
Okay, so deeper. What is your favorite way to spend time as a family?
What is my favorite way to spend time as a family?
As a family.
Well,
Me, it's easy, man. I like fucking food and sports.
You go ahead.
Food and sports, man.
Food and sports is fun. Yeah,
food and sports
100%
is like the way to go if I'm having family time, like on the reg all the time.
Now, is this like your entire family? Like, is this what we're talking about, or is it like your home life family?
Let's break it down. So let's home life family first, like immediate home life family. Mm-hmm. It's ironic because I actually grew up hating it. Like I loved my family. I had no problem with my family. I had a great life at my family. I just didn't like being free. So growing up as a kid, I was all about how can I have less of this family life in my life. I wanted to move out so bad. And I did. Moved out as early as possible. I was like 17 when I moved out. And I really didn't have that much. I mean, I had plenty. I lived near and around where my family lived. But I never really had that time. So like the family time kind of always went away. And I'll tell you why, actually. Now that I think about it, I'll tell you why I wanted to have so much family time just suddenly transform into like my own time. Mm-hmm. I loved my life growing up as a kid. I loved my family, doing stuff with cousins, like all the extended family stuff. Like every Christmas was a huge family gathering for Christmas Eve, or some or any other thing. Like there was a yearly blowout that they did for in my grandfather's name, and they would just have all their friends and family come, and it was like hundreds of people, huge party, barbecues, music, fun, all that stuff. And I grew up having all of these get-togethers, all these family gatherings, all the cousins, aunts, uncles together and everything. And it got to a point when you get to a certain age where that stuff starts to quit and you want it back. Yeah. And you can't get it back sometimes because, look, time is fleeting. Traditions and families change. And then there comes to a point where people go and do their own thing. The children start to have their own children. They do their own thing, and then their children do their own thing, and it just kind of splits and splits and splits until new traditions become something else. So I wanted those traditions to stay. I wanted cousins on the reg. I wanted aunts and uncles on the reg. I wanted these other experiences because it got me to like see so many people and it kept me connected with my family. And it gets to a point where that's not there anymore, and you want it, and you just have your immediate family life. And that immediate family life is not enough, so you want to like break out. So and now that I'm older, for me personally, I covet that time, especially now that my family is damn near on East Coast time, and I'm here in California. It's hard because you start to wondering how much you're missing by not being close. And that's been a huge thing that I've personally been struggling with for quite some time. Like Melissa and I are discussing a move back to Atlanta, so we can be closer to my parents. And as they're getting older, then I can take care of them and be with them and stuff like that. So I want that family time. So it's ironic that, like, you know, towards the end of high school, I was chomping at the bit to get away from
get out of there,
to get out of the family traditions and how I spend family time. And right now, as I'm sitting here and talking and thinking about it, it's all I want. It's all that I want. And that goes the same with like my close friends in Georgia and other close friends and people that I met in Charleston and stuff like that. Like it's, but with family, I think you start to, shit starts getting kind of real. It takes like the perfect like death in a family or something like that for it to like suddenly hit that like, wow, all that time is done. It's over. And it's either nothing. It's either we do nothing as a family or we try to do as much as we can as a family.
Right.
And I can say that me and my family
get together like every year and have like the huge, like everybody's families together, all their kids. God, it doesn't matter what age. It's like a huge event. Like, that's weird. Like my family's never been like that. I went to like one family gathering with like aunts and uncles, maybe once.
And you have a big family. You have a really big family.
Yeah. There's so many people all over the place. So it was always just immediate family mostly.
What's your way to spend time, you know, starting immediate, or just give me like your family hangout history? Like what, don't tell me what you like, just tell me what you've experienced, kind of like what I did.
Like I said, maybe like 2 times I ever got together with like part of my mom's family and like, yeah, that's really about it. Then nobody's really like close knit necessarily. So it wasn't one of those, you know, highlights of when I was younger. And then I have a large family and I'm the youngest. So my family was a weird dynamic too growing up. So it was always, everybody was around, and then brothers and sisters started having children. So, you know, I became an uncle at a very young age and those kids were around all the time. So, I mean, I grew up in like different tiered generations of like having older brothers and sisters and then having nieces and nephews under me. So I was in that weird gap of all those things.
Right.
And you have spending family time was like, we watched.
You have a really cool family too. And just like a little aside for the listeners and stuff like that. But like Peel has a huge family, like so many different age groups, like multi ethnicities, just a really, really fucking cool family. So I feel you. And I think we can probably say the same for ourselves. Like we can probably do more with our families and making our presence felt. But go ahead.
What I liked when I was younger was we'd always watch movies. It was going to the video store, getting movies, and that was always a big thing in my family, which was we would burn through movies. And I wasn't one of those kids that, you know, couldn't do PG-13 or rated R. Like I was allowed everything at a very young age. You know, I was you know, a toddler watching Nightmare on Elm Street and, you know, Die Hard and all these kind of things. So that's just how we grew up. That's how we bonded, really. We watched these movies, we talked about them, we looked forward to coming out, or actors that we enjoyed and blah, blah, blah. So when like, you know, Netflix and everything kind of took over and then the video stores disappeared, it's one thing that I constantly miss is just going in there like Friday night, looking for a movie, and knowing that you're going to go home and spend time with your family and hang out. So that's one of the things that I really miss. But food is a really big thing. Always cooking, always doing things like that. I mean, that's how I got into my career. And yeah. And then now, just, here with my, my new family that, I'm building with in Covington it's just hanging out and doing random things at random times, just enjoying the day and enjoying just existing, because I never had like such a drama-free existence. So this is really relaxing, and I dig it. Like, it's just like, it's serene to me that there's no like internal mind battles you got to go with against somebody else. So yeah, so family, those are the things that I'd like to do. And of course, going forward, getting more financially stable, I'd like to go out, like get a boat, something like that, go out fishing and, be a part of nature, but also have those nights where you just come in, sit down, watch some movies and enjoy. Yeah,
we used to have a boat too. And we went every other week at least, and had some good times. A boat, if you live in an area that allows for it, yeah, having a boat is just fantastic. Yeah, I got to get and see my parents more, for sure. Like I just don't see them enough. Like I was listening to this. It wasn't a podcast. It was like a little clip from a TikTok I was watching, and it was two guys in a podcast, and they were talking about seeing their family. And one guy said, I'm gonna butcher this, but they were talking about how often that they don't see their parents. And one guy was like, yeah, I'm probably going to see them, or like I see them like once a year. And he's like, hey, you need to stop thinking that way. You need to like, if seeing your parents important, you need to start with your terminology and how you view this. And he was like, all right, so what are you talking about? And the guy was like, well, don't say how many times that you've seen them, like how many times you see them a year. Like how... Oh, no, what was it? I'm going to fuck it up. Okay, I'm going to have to bring it up in a whole other thing unless it's going to fuck up the video and everything, but I'll have to find it. It's saved on my TikTok, but it's awesome. But it essentially is just telling you that like if there are things in life below. Yeah, if there are things in life that you miss, you need to view it as not how often, but how many times you see that. I'll find it. I'm butchering it, but I'll maybe like add it to the end of this video or something.
You've
like
bestowed great knowledge upon us.
Yeah, it's a really good thing. So I may just edit that whole thing out and just be like, hey guys, it's Travis here. I just fucked up a whole segment, and this is what I really meant to say. Power of post-production. So yeah. So I just need to see my parents more. It's not enough. I think the last time I saw them was like before when I moved here. When I drove through Atlanta to come to California.
You better go see Lisa and Renee, boy.
Close to 4 years. Well, when you think about it this way, it's like if I saw them at that rate and they lived 10 more years, because you don't know how long someone's going to live, but say my parents lived 10 more years, at the rate that I see them right now, that means I'm going to see them 2 more times. Like 2 more times. And that's kind of what they were talking about in that video. I was fucking up.
Yeah.
Is that's how you need to view it. Like, you're only going to see them 2 more times. And then when you look at it in that mindset, then it's like, instead of saying like, oh, I see them every few years, or I see my parents every few years, well, technically I'm probably going to see them 2 more times. And that's when you go like, holy fuck, I really have to see my parents, or I have to see person X or person Y. So, yeah. They say getting older, look, certain things get easy, right? Certain things get easy. You get adult money, you get adult freedom for the most part.
Another video you mentioned, flash things easier.
There we go. And but then everything else is pretty much hard. Everything else is pretty much hard. But that's it. I'm gonna tell you what's not hard, Jonathan. What is not hard is clicking that subscribe button on this video. You should do it.
Or the like button.
Or the like button. There is a bell button too that notifies you when you are subscribed. That notifies you when we post a video, and that's mucho importante as well.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
Let's give it a little ring-a-dinger. So, if you enjoyed our conversation today, please let us know with that like, share, and subscribe. And also hit us up in the comments either on YouTube or on the Facebook page. And we are like 110 deep on the Facebook page. I'm loving that. So, but thank you guys very, very much. You all have a great week. We'll be back with more content later on. Travis and Peel Show is out.